Hello everyone, welcome to this video on Saturn-Mars combination or conjunction. Um, when I say Saturn-Mars combination, I'm referring to Saturn and Mars appearing together in a house, the astrological chart. When I was thinking of this video, I was wondering what image to put so that people understand this combination clearly. Okay. Then I remembered about the movie Indian or Hindustani, in which Prakash Raj plays the role of a cop, okay, and Vikram plays the role of a lawyer, uh, as well as uh, someone who will kill wrongdoers, in society. Okay, uh, it's the same person, and Vikram eventually gets caught, by the police, and during the course of the interrogation, Vikram actually displays multiple personalities in himself, right? Uh, when he played the role of the advocate, he used to be a docile person with a very passive personality, okay, but when he becomes when he becomes, the individual who goes, attacks and kills the wrongdoers, he displays the aggressive personality. Okay, so that's what Prakash Raj will realize, during the course of his interrogation of Vikram. Okay, and he is obviously surprised. How can someone exhibit both passive and aggressive personalities, in the course of just 5 minutes or 10 minutes? That's what Saturn Mars combination is all about, right? So people with Saturn and Mars typically exhibit both extremes, when it comes to their aggression. Sometimes they are not aggressive, sometimes they are very aggressive. That is because, of the nature of the planets themselves. If you look at Saturn is a slow moving planet. It wants to take time to analyze things before it proceeds with any action. Mars, on the other hand, is all about action, is all about speed, right? So two planets with conflicting personalities, right, conflicting characteristics, have come together, in a house, and obviously they do a lot of damage to the house, right? Because they are conflicting conflicting uh, planets, right? That is, planets with conflicting characteristics. It is like, if somebody wants to go to say Singapore, and another person wants to go to London, right? So both are in different directions. So one, you're caught in the middle. One person says he wants to go to Singapore, another person says he wants to go to London, right? So how will you reconcile the two? That's how this particular house gets caught in this opposing energies, okay? And people in this combination, okay, are often misunderstood because they turn aggressive very quickly. So people who work closely with them, who are in a close relationship with such people, right, find it hard to understand what's really going on in this individual, right? So Saturn Mars combination does a lot of damage, to relationship, right? And it also creates havoc in professional environment, because Saturn is supposed to be the planet for jobs, right? And with this combination, it gives a lot of breaks, right? So Saturn and Mars can be in any bhava, okay, in any house, not necessarily in the seventh house of marriage or the sixth house of job or 10th house of business, right? It can be in any house. It will do damage to the individual, right? So all along I've been talking, the negative aspects of Saturn Mars. If you ask me, is there anything positive? Is there anything worthwhile about this combination? The answer is yes, there is something very worthwhile about this combination. It is that people with this combination have lots of energy. Okay, it's like their adrenaline is always in a in a pumped up, charged up mode. Okay, so these people need to find a good way to dissipate the excess energy, right? It can be from doing vigorous exercise or any sports, right? It can be tennis, badminton, cricket, it can be any sports, right? People with this combination should engage in any kind of sports or physically demanding activities so that they are able to dissipate or release the excess energy from them, because this aggressive personality comes from this excess energy that is there in those individuals. If you really see, the Saturn Mars combination is there in the horoscopes of many sports people. Because sports, if you see, there are times when you need to be passive and there are times when you need to be aggressive, right? We always say, right, you need to switch the game because the circumstances have changed. Maybe you are nearing the end of the match. You have to fight for it, right? Otherwise, the other person will win. There are times when you have to conserve your energy, right? You let the opposition maybe even gain some points. That's okay. So a sports person plays multiple aspects, right, of both passive and aggression in the course of a match, right? So this is very useful for sports people. But for ordinary people, who have a desk job, this is not a good combination because you are left with too much energy. And if you don't exercise regularly, if you don't play a sport, that excess energy comes out in the form of anger or rage or shouting at another person, right? So all these things damages relationship, profession, and even health, right? Because the body is in a normal state or even subdued state, right? When it is passive, and all of a sudden it has to come to a hyper aggressive state, right? So it puts enormous stress on the body, right? On different parts of the body. So it's not good for health as well. In fact, if you see, I'm doing this video on February 5th, 2022. Mars is currently here, okay, in Sagittarius. And Saturn is in Capricorn. So in a month's time, right, Saturn and Mars will be together, right? Two opposing energies. Not good, right? So it's not good. And for people with Saturn Mars combination, right, the conjunction that is happening in the course of yearly horoscope, right, definitely will impact them, right? So Saturn Mars, two opposing planets, two negative planets, right, two strong planets, right? But essentially they are of different nature. They come together and they create a lot of problems in a particular house where they are posited. Okay, so this is something that I wanted to share, and from an astrological perspective, right? Uh, is there any exception to this rule? Because astrology is as much about exceptions as it is about rules, right? So, if Jupiter is present in any of these houses, right? If Jupiter is present, the ill effects of Saturn Mars combination is greatly reduced. What happens when Jupiter is there in these houses? Jupiter aspects, right? Jupiter aspects this, right? And here Jupiter is also in conjunction. Here Jupiter actually takes a hit, okay, in the course of helping Saturn and Mars combination, right? So when Jupiter is there, the ill effects are greatly reduced, right? So people with Saturn Mars combination, or if you're dealing with someone who has Saturn Mars combination, be aware that that person, is actually going to exhibit uh, different phases of aggression. Okay, could be passive, very docile, calm, at times, and then hyper aggressive at another time. Okay, and always encourage this individual to take up any sports. Okay, and these individuals should get into sports, or take up vigorous walking or jogging, in a regular fashion. Okay, so because that will help dissipate or release the excess energy, right? As I said, more than health and profession, relationship suffers. Okay, and people with Saturn Mars combination are misunderstood, right? Misunderstood in a big way. And in some unfortunate cases, it also leads to breakup of relationship. Okay, so be aware of this so you can handle this. So that's what I wanted to share in this video, okay, of Saturn Mars conjunction. I encourage you to like or share the video if you like it. Also subscribe to this astrology channel so you can get to learn about astrological concepts from a different perspective. Thank you. I'll see you again.